Hey everyone, Bailey Peachy here again, and welcome back to part 4 of our Trade Business Accountants Cash Flow Masterclass. We're an accounting firm that works exclusively with Australian trade and construction businesses, turning anywhere between $1 and $10 million a year to help them build greater security in their business by dramatically increasing their profits and cash. The reason for this training is for everyone less than $1 million a year. We want to help you get there so that, hey, maybe someday we can work together. At the very least, we just want to provide you value. And for everybody above the $1 million threshold, we want to help you simply do better. At the very least, showcase what we know, and maybe you'll consider hiring our accounting services to help you do all this. So let's dive back in. So far in this training, we have covered exactly how to first understand your cash flow. And then we have also covered the 7 key levers in your business that you can use to dramatically increase your cash. Now let's break out of the numbers and talk specific strategies to improve these 7 levers that we've just covered in part 3 of this training. Starting with increasing prices. As you would have seen from our client case studies, price has one of the biggest effects on your cash flow. But in saying that, I already know what you're thinking. I can't just increase my prices, I'll lose all my work. And to be honest, you might be right. But the problem here isn't the increase in price. The price is just the price. Whether the price is appropriate or not is actually a you problem. If you don't think you can raise your prices, then you need to ask yourself, are you in the right market? Do you have the right clients? Is the value of your service not up to scratch? Do you have the wrong pricing structure? Or do you have the false belief that the entire market is completely price driven? Don't get me wrong, price will always have an impact in the overall buying decision, and there will always be cheap customers, but it's only one factor, right? What most customers really want is value for money. Rarely do we ever buy something purely because it is the lowest priced option. Think about it. Why don't you buy the lowest priced car on the market? Why don't you buy all of your clothes from the local secondhand shop? Why don't you buy the lowest priced mobile phone, right? And why don't you buy the lowest priced brand of power tools? I can tell you why. It's because you want value for money, and your ideal customers are the exact same. They don't want the cheap, lowest priced option. They want value. And there's a massive, massive difference between the two, right? Cheapest is lowest in price, whereas value for money is getting something cheaper than what it is perceived to be worth. And this is critical, absolutely critical that you understand this. Value is believing that what you're getting is worth more than what you're paying for it. The moment that you feel that the value that you're going to get dips below the price that you're going to pay, you no longer will feel like you're getting a bargain, and chances are you won't buy. The best way to look at this is by imagining 2 lines traveling side by side, one being value and the other being price. To win jobs, you need to make sure that the value line travels above the price line. As soon as the value line drops below the price, you've probably just lost the client, because in their eyes, they're not getting value for money. That's why you need to work on increasing the value of what you're delivering, because the bigger the gap, the better the deal, and the more likely someone is going to buy from you over everyone else around you. Now, the problem here is that the gap between value and price for most contractors is actually identical. There's no real difference between you and the next contractor down the road, which is why you yourself might even have little pricing flexibility in your business right now. But here's the thing. If all products are equal, then the cheapest is the most valuable by default. Because when you have nothing better to offer than price, that is the only thing that your customers will fixate on. And that means as soon as you raise your prices, chances are you're going to lose work, because the gap between value and price has decreased, and the customer now believes that they can get a better deal elsewhere from your competition. But again, I need to stress this. The problem isn't the customer. The customer always wants the best deal. No matter what market you're in, what your work types are, or who you're servicing, that's the reality. The problem is you. Just because you raise your prices does not mean that people are just going to automatically start paying more for your service. You need to first work on increasing your value before you increase your prices. Here you can see exactly what that looks like. If you raise your price, then you must raise the value of your service enough to make the customer feel like they're getting a better deal, so that the buying decision still makes sense. The bigger the gap, the better the deal. Now, to increase prices, we need to look at value in 2 ways. There's the back end actual value that your customers receive once they start working with you. And then there is the front end perceived value that customers think they're going to get prior to actually accepting your quote. Back end value is the key to raising prices with your existing customers. Whereas front-end value is the key to raising prices with new customers, people that haven't used you before. When it comes to existing clients, it's all about providing a superior service than everybody else. Now, I could go really deep here, but this masterclass is all about cash. So for now, I want you to just focus on the low-hanging fruit. Customer experience. Most contractors aren't very good at providing great customer experience. And because of this, the bar has been set pretty damn low. So what you need to just worry about doing is nailing the basics. Are you calling people back when you say you're going to? When you schedule a time with a client, are you showing up? Are you on time, or are you late and disrespectful? Or worse, do you have no comms at all and then you just rock up unannounced because it suited you, but you didn't actually communicate that to your client? Do you turn up and start projects on the day that you promised the client, or do you just call that morning and say, hey, I can't make it, something's come up, and you push them back? What about if there's an issue on the side of those callbacks? How do you respond? Do you push them back until it's convenient for you? Or do you move things around to give them a red carpet experience? Do you spend the time to listen and actually understand their situation, keep them informed and educate them and demonstrate that you value their business? Or do you just leave them a big to-do list when you leave the job because you left the place in a mess, right? Do you finish on time? And if you can't, are you communicating why? As a general rule here, do you just make it easy to do business with you? Because all these basic things here, as basic and as simple as they sound, they impact the overall customer experience. And in my experience, hiring different trade professionals and working with different trade professionals across many different industries, the standard here and the benchmark is so low. Focus on the fundamentals, right? Because the greater the customer experience, the greater value the customer feels like they're getting, the more pricing flexibility you're going to have. So my advice here, be the one contractor who is truly, truly customer focused, for real. Don't just talk a big game. Actually take care of them, care about their outcomes, listen to them, make them feel heard, help them win, and your business will boom. And you'll be able to charge a lot more for what you're doing, right? And no one's going to feel like they're being ripped off. Now, with new customers, they've never used you before. So they don't know what your back-end actual value looks like. For them, the value that matters most is the perceived value. So this means that it's completely up to your front-end marketing and sales to communicate the value that you're bringing to the table and really to make your prices seem logical to the customer. So this means that you have to make marketing, sales, and pricing all work together. In the sales process, marketing, sales, and pricing all line up next to each other. And the game of increasing perceived value to be able to increase your prices comes down to your marketing and sales. The mistake that I see most contractors make when they increase their prices is that they don't improve or change anything about their marketing and sales. So their perceived value remains relatively the same that it was before they increased their prices. So what this is doing is it's leaving a negative disparity in the increased price that you're now naming versus the value that they think they're going to get on the back end. And because of that, your customers are going to feel like your service is a ripoff because the price just doesn't make sense, right? You've increased the prices, but to them, nothing else has changed about what they perceive the value to be, or really what they're going to be getting from paying more money, right? So you haven't done enough to communicate what they're getting for their money or why, and this is really important, it's worth it over the cheaper options that they have. That's why to increase prices, you need to improve your marketing and sales so that the value that you're showcasing on the front end is greater than your price, because this will make the gap between price and value greater than the competition so that your customers still feel like they're getting a better deal going with you. That's the key. So no matter what industry you're in or what work you do or what clients you work with, these principles all apply. Nothing changes. This is how you need to look at your pricing strategy. Now, for more details on this, it's all within the price for profit bonus that you get when you sign up for this masterclass, right? And if you're watching this on YouTube, just head to the link in the video description to head to our internal portal and you can get your hands on this and all the other bonuses. Again, it's all free. It is completely free. There's no hidden costs or anything like that. You just simply go to the link, go to the portal, download all your free bonuses, right? So I highly recommend that you go there and you check that out at a later time. It's a really great read. All right, so what should marketing and sales look like to boost perceived value? Things like a great website and online presence, a professional proposal, not just a shitty generic one-page quote, right? A strong capability statement that communicates, hey, why you're different and why you are superior to everybody else. Why should I pick you? All collated into one fantastic document for the customers or your clients to read. And not just the tangible marketing sales infrastructure, but also the intangible stuff that matters too, right? So say, for example, you're working on a larger commercial project. Are you on site kicking the dirt with the prospect? Are you selling the stories on how you've delivered similar jobs and tackled similar problems in the past? Are you probing them and going deeper with your question sets to uncover more about how you can provide greater value to them in the process? Are you communicating the potential unforeseen risks that could completely derail the project or budget that they might not know about, right? Are you positioning yourself as the expert, their trusted advisor, the low risk, high value option throughout the tendering stage? Someone that they can depend on to deliver the project as promised and solve big problems quickly if shit hits the fan, right? This is all about transferring confidence and certainty and really resetting the buying criteria. All of this stuff adds up and it all matters. So if you want to increase prices, I promise you that you can, but you'll have to take on board these principles and really better understand the relationship between marketing, sales, and pricing and how they all interrelate so that you focus on increasing them all at the same time, not just skyrocketing one. Because if you skyrocket your prices and you don't change anything else about your business, chances are you will not get the cash results that you are after. Next, let's talk about increasing volume, the second lever. Now, when it comes to marketing, there is so much to talk about on this topic, as you probably already know. But for the sake of time, I'm just going to blast through a bunch of actionable strategies that you can use to generate more work. So please have your pen and paper ready. Here we go. First things first, if you're struggling with volume, not enough people know who you are. And chances are it's because you're not taking marketing as seriously as you should be. Now, if I seem arrogant in saying that, this is just simply my observation working with trade and construction businesses all throughout Australia. This is always the number one common denominator. And word of mouth is largely to blame for this. A lot of contractors that I see, they like to rely on word of mouth, but I always say it's just like a free lunch. Sure, it's nice when you get one, but you can't rely on it to feed your family. You don't just sit around and wait for things to pick up in business. You need to get yourself out there. You need to be proactive and you need to go after it. So I'll tell you what I tell every single one of my clients. You need to be marketing consistently in some capacity every single week, all year round, regardless of how busy you are. Even if you are booked out, this is not the time to take your foot off the gas because the marketing that you do now is going to feed you over the coming months and the coming years. So despite what, many marketing agencies will try to sell you on, there is no magic pill for lead generation. The real shortcut, the real hack or secret is just consistency. If you are inconsistent, this will lead to the up and down roller coaster of work and cash flow. And you need to see it as, a flywheel effect because you're going to put in a lot of work and it's going to build momentum over time, right? Marketing is the single most important task in your business, not a chore. So make sure that you treat it accordingly. If you don't have the capacity to market consistently or you don't have the time to upskill here and you don't feel like you're really good at it, either reevaluate your high and low value tasks or hire the right people around you to help you with this stuff because marketing consistently is critical. Starting with your website. So your website is the centerpiece of all your online marketing, the salesman that never sleeps. This is where all of your ideal customers go to find out more information about you and whether or not you are the right fit for them. And really, ideally, you kind of want this doing at least 80% of the selling and getting people to take action and call you. Make sure that it looks professional and positions you as the premium contractor in your area, that it uses powerful messaging throughout the pages that both educates and sells. So education-based selling, that's a massive, massive point of difference here. It makes sure it's functional and simple to navigate on every format. So that's computer, phone, tablets, what have you. And also make sure that it has bucket loads of proof and credibility listed throughout every single one of the pages. So that's reviews, accreditations, no stock images, lots of videos, key projects, guarantees, key clients, basically everything that is superior and different about your company. Typically, most businesses have 60% of underutilized proof and credibility that of things that is really great and different about their business, things that they do that benefit the clients that they work with, but they never put that into their marketing. So they do it, but they're not communicating it on the front end and how that helps people. And because of that, they're not attracting as many people to their business as they should be. So if your website isn't ticking these 4 boxes right now, it probably needs some work. Next is social media. Never in time has it been easier to market your business. So love it or hate it, social media is a massive, massive tool, regardless of your market. And if you're not taking advantage, you're likely falling behind. So get set up on all relevant social media platforms, whether that be Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, whatever it is, and make sure that your branding and messaging is completely congruent to what is on your website. Honestly, you're posting a minimum of 3 times per week with photos and videos and reviews, and hey, even tag customers, suppliers, subbies, for that extra further reach. And use software like Content Cal to schedule the posts and have them automatically upload if you need to save time. You can run competitions every couple of months where the requirements are to like your page, share the post, and tag a friend to grow your audience. And also put faces to the business and use social media to build your brand personality. Showcase yourself, your team, your work, your suppliers, your partners, your customers, and really just show up and stay relevant in your prospects' minds. You have a powerful free tool here at your disposal to tell the world just how great your company is and connect with literally dream clients in every market. So make sure that you're using it. And to make this clear, this does not just apply to businesses servicing the residential market. I could rattle off story after story after story of how social media has benefited companies across literally every work type. So please take my word for it, get on board and take advantage of this tool set. Next is Google My Business. We live in a society of instant information. If you are looking for a service, you Google it. If your business isn't easy to find, people will go elsewhere to your competitors. And this is because we're lazy, right? We're all wired to automatically seek out the path of least resistance, which is why 72% of people still go to Google first when looking for a service, but more than 90% never make it past the first page. So when people are searching electrician near me, plumber near me, or whatever your trade is, will they see you or are they going to see your competition? Because if you don't have Google My Business, it's not about playing well against your competitors because you're not even in the same game. So here's what you need to do. This is my advice. Set up, optimize, and maintain your account consistently throughout the year. There are plenty of tutorials online on how to do that. Next, you want to get as many Google reviews as you possibly can. So ask every new customer, past customers, subcontractors, suppliers, employees, mates, wives, girlfriends, family members with different last names for character reviews, strategic alliances, whoever it is, just stack those Google reviews. The next thing is stay consistent with your posts. So every social media post that you do should really be uploaded to every relevant platform. So the same post, just copy and paste it, right? Google loves these, and it's your chance to have keywords also sitting within your profile, very similar to the Google reviews. And lastly, if you're not a physical shopfront and you don't rely on people actually having to know where you operate from and coming to your physical address, I want you to convert your address to a service map so that you can show up in more organic search results. At the point of recording this, I think you can have up to 20 service areas. So Google My Business, make sure you are smashing that one. Next is email marketing. So having the ability to email 200, 600, or even 1,000 past customers with the click of a button is massive for business. I know people who can generate at least 20 grand worth of work every single time they send an email. And I also know a plumber with over 45,000 customers on his database. So the bigger the list, the greater the results. And here's what you need to do. Export all of your client data from your accounting system or your job management system into an Excel spreadsheet. Again, there are a lot of tutorials online and it's very easy to do this. Then sign up to a free email marketing program like ConvertKit, which I recommend, and then import your customer list. What you can do then is set up automated email sequences of special offers, company updates, holiday emails, advice, education, resources, product reviews, all these kind of things to send out every single month and keep you top of mind with your customers or potential customers, right? And another thing you can do as well is launch what I call a Google review campaign to every single past customer all at once. So in some cases, I've generated up to 48 5-star reviews within a couple of days for a client. So this really just makes getting reviews a lot easier as well. Now, I know that email marketing doesn't necessarily apply to everyone. But if that's you and you can't see email marketing being relevant for your business, the same principle here applies, right? You might just do it through another channel. So the overarching principle is to keep in touch with your existing and past clients. How you do that specifically is up to you, but just do not overlook how much work can be generated from regularly touching base with the people that you already know and keeping you and your business top of mind. Next is strategic alliances. This is massive. And for everyone listening, this one strategy alone could triple your business. What you want to do is find non-competing businesses that also work with the same type of customers that you do or that you want to work with. So if you are an electrician, for example, this could be plumbers, painters, carpenters, building inspectors. It could be builders. It could be property managers, interior designers, it could be pool builders, it could be landscapers or even engineers, right? But once you identify these people and you build a relationship, cross-promote on and offline wherever you can. I once helped a client get access to a 9,000 ideal customer email list of property investors to market to for free, which is huge, right? So pick up the phone and introduce yourself. The more people that you know, the more opportunity that you will generate. Now, with builders, property managers, design consultants, and all those sorts of people, what you want to do here is follow them online, open up the dialogue and start a conversation on LinkedIn, send them a lumpy mail package, follow up with a phone call, and then book in a meeting to toss your hat in the ring because you want to earn their attention. That is my recommendation. We've had clients do this and win literally upward of $600,000 worth of work in just 5 days from companies like CB Services, or even $2 million worth of work in a week from companies like QM Properties. So if you want to increase your volume, identify your dream clients, and then target them directly, right? With all of your focus. There's heaps to be said on this, and maybe I'll even make a whole, masterclass around it someday. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see that. But yeah, for now, identify your target and go after them directly using that exact process. Now, that's some tips for getting leads. But you also want to make sure that you're converting them, right? So make sure that you understand how many jobs you're winning from the number of quotes that you're actually sending out. Because if you have a low conversion rate, chances are that you're wasting a lot of time and energy, and you're also probably working a lot harder than you need to get the same or really, a worse result. I see a lot of trade business owners spending, thousands and thousands of hours quoting every single year with a really low conversion rate. And it tells me that, hey, something's going wrong in the process here because the payoff for the amount of hours you're putting in should be a lot higher, right? So to increase your conversion rate, you need to look at how quickly you answer the phone, how warm the lead is, your qualifying process, your sales skills, how you quote, and how you follow up. All of this matters. But you also want tangible sales tools. And this is kind of tying back into what I was talking about when we were discussing increasing prices, right? This is taking everything that you can leverage from marketing and putting it into tools, just like I mentioned before. Things like capability statements, better proposals, information booklets, and all this stuff to stand out from the competition and get more profitable jobs across the line. Because when you go to the effort to improve here and get these things in place, you're making yourself different from your competitors. And in my experience, it's really hard to sell better, but it's very, very easy to sell different. And for example, I have a client that, didn't have much marketing. They weren't on social media. They had an old website. They didn't have uniforms, and nothing really stood out about them from a marketing standpoint. And so customers only knew how great they were after they'd already hired them and taken a chance on them, which was actually keeping their conversion rate pretty low. And what we did was we helped them implement these tools I'm talking about here to lower that decision risk. And they went from pricing jobs at a 15% gross profit margin to winning projects at a 50% gross profit margin, literally within 7 days. So that's an overnight increase of 35% in gross profit, and turning $1.5 million at the time, where 15% gross profit only left around $225,000 to cover all the overheads and actually make a profit. It just wasn't enough. But at the 50%, that's $750,000. So that's an additional $525,000 than before. So that 35% increase is a massive, massive difference. And I guarantee that you could probably do something very similar in your business, because that's just one example of many that I could give you. So when you're looking to increase your volume, start thinking about these different marketing and sales points and how you might be able to implement some of these principles into your own business.